Hi, in this video I'll help you get to know your car a little better. At the end of this video I've put together a straightforward infographic that summarizes all the key points. Like, subscribe and comment below. It really helps.
All right, today we're playing detective and tackling a real automotive mystery. A complete, catastrophic meltdown of your car's computer. You know, it's one of those problems that can be incredibly frustrating and frankly, super expensive. But there's a pattern, a clear signature to the chaos. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to spot it. So picture this. Your car is running like garbage. That check engine light is just staring you down. And when you pull the codes, it's a total mess. A long list of things that don't seem to make any sense together. But here's the thing. What if I told you that hidden inside all that chaos is one single clue? Just one that solves the entire mystery. Let's go find it.
You know, every good mystery starts with a confusing crime scene. And in this case, the crime scene is your car's diagnostic report. Your dashboard is lit up like a Christmas tree with warning lights, and those initial codes, they just make everything even more confusing.
Okay, so here are the first clues that pop up. We've got injector circuit faults for cylinder 2 and cylinder 4. Then a misfire on cylinder 8. And then, and this is where it gets weird, we have low input codes for the fuel temperature and pressure sensors. I mean, at first glance, this just looks like a total mess, right? None of it seems connected. So you keep digging, maybe it cleared the codes and drive it again, and then, bam, one more code shows up. And this isn't just another problem to add to the growing list. Now, this is the one that changes everything.
And this is it. P0206, an injector circuit fault on cylinder number 6. See, this code isn't just another random failure. It's the key. It's the piece that completes the pattern and proves we're not dealing with a bunch of separate problems. This, my friends, is the smoking gun. It confirms 100% that this is all connected to one single catastrophic failure.
Okay, so now it's time to put on our detective hats. We've got our clues, we've found our smoking gun. It's time to sift through all this evidence and figure out what story it's actually telling us.
So let's just lay out all the victims here. We've got injector number 2, number 4, and number 6. Then we've got a fuel temperature sensor and a fuel rail pressure sensor. Now your first instinct, and this is totally understandable, might be to start throwing parts at it. You know, let's replace injector 2 and see what happens. But that would be a huge and very expensive mistake. The real clue isn't in what failed, but how all these things failed together.
But when you step back and look at the whole picture, that's when the pattern just jumps out at you. Check this out. It's only the even-numbered injectors that are failing. 2, 4, and 6. Not 1, 3, or 5. You've got multiple, totally separate sensors failing at the exact same time. They are all fuel system components. And here's the biggest clue of all. They all share the same type of electrical fault, a low input or open circuit. Come on, that is not a coincidence. That's a signature. You see, when you have a pattern this specific across parts that shouldn't be related, you're not looking for multiple bad guys. You're looking for one single mastermind, one single point of failure that connects them all. And at this point, we have a prime suspect.
So let's think about this like a detective, right? We got to rule things out. What do all these failed parts have in common? Well, they don't share the same ground wires, they don't share the same power feeds, they're not even all in the same part of the wiring harness. There is only one single thing they all connect to, the same control module, the brain of the car, the powertrain control module, or PCM. And for anyone who's not super familiar with this, the PCM is, and I'm not exaggerating, it's the brain of your car. It's this incredibly complex little computer that's taking information from hundreds of sensors and then sending out precise commands to make the engine run. And yeah, it controls every single one of our failed parts.
And our prime suspect, the PCM, isn't just having a bad day, it's having a complete internal meltdown. A voltage regulator inside has failed, sending the wrong voltage to our sensors and frying them. And here's the kicker. A specific driver circuit, they call it Bank B, has totally fried. That is the circuit responsible for controlling injectors 2, 4, 6, and 8. The problem isn't in your engine bay. It's deep inside the electronics of the computer itself. Now, in any good investigation, you don't just point the finger at the suspect. You got to get a confession. So how do we prove with 100% certainty that the PCM is guilty before we go spend $1,000 to replace it? And you know what? The test to prove it is actually super simple. First, you just unplug the PCM connector, isolate the suspect. Then you find the control wires for each of those bad parts, injectors 2, 4, 6, and the sensors. With a multimeter, you check the resistance from each of those wires to a good ground. You're looking for a short in the car's wiring,
And here's the confession. The wires will test perfectly fine. You'll see infinite resistance, which means there is no short. That's the proof. The short circuit isn't out in the car. It has to be inside the PCM itself. Case closed.
Okay, this is where things get really serious. It's not just about fixing the problem anymore, it's a race against time. Because chasing the wrong suspects now doesn't just waste money, it can cause thousands of dollars in additional damage to other expensive parts.
So listen up, this is important. You have to stop. Seriously. Do not let anyone convince you to replace the fuel pump or start chasing a wiring problem that doesn't exist. Don't replace the injectors or sensors one by one. Those are just the symptoms, not the disease. And replacing them will do nothing but drain your bank account.
So you might be thinking, can I just drive it a little longer? Well, let me show you what happens if you wait. Right now, you've got a failed computer and some misfires. You wait just 1 week, all that raw fuel from the dead injectors will destroy your catalytic converters. That's another $2,000 easy. You wait a couple of weeks, you could be looking at actual internal engine damage. This is not something you want to put off.
All right, we've presented all the evidence. The jury is in. It's time for the verdict and the one and only sentence that's going to fix this car and put this mystery to rest for good.
Now, you're going to see a number that might make you gulp a little. But stick with me, because when you see the thousands of dollars in damage it prevents, it starts to make a whole lot of sense.
So where does that money go? Well, the biggest chunk is a quality rebuilt PCM, around $600. Then you've got the programming, which is absolutely critical for about $200. Add in some labor, a final diagnostic check to make sure everything's happy, and hey, maybe a new spark plug for that misfiring cylinder. It all adds up to a final, and most importantly, a correct bill.
So, the actual fix? It's a straightforward 3-step plan. Step 1, replace the brain. Get a quality rebuilt unit. Step 2, program it. This is non-negotiable. Without programming the VIN and keys to the new module, the car's security system won't even let it start. And finally, step 3, verify the fix. Clear all those old codes, take it for a good long test drive, and make sure everything is running smoothly again.
And really, this whole thing just boils down to one final thought. A choice you have to make. You've basically got two paths in front of you. Path 1, you follow the evidence, you see the pattern, you replace the PCM right now. Total cost is probably somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500. Or there's path 2. You chase the symptoms. You replace injectors, sensors, maybe even a wiring harness, and you spend $4, $5, maybe even $6,000 before you eventually end up having to replace the PCM anyway. So when you look at it like that, what's the real mystery? Is it the confusing codes? Or is it why anyone would ever choose the second option?